right, so the second slide is about it's a compliance notice about especially telephone prospecting. So today we're going to talk a lot about phone prospecting and calling. So we don't want you to get in trouble. Please consult with your broker, your attorney before you make these phone calls, and you must adhere to the DNC, do not call lists on a local, state, and federal level. Perfect. Let's go started. So we're gonna have a very exciting conversation today. And what I really like about this conversation is it's about making money, obviously. And this is why we're licensed. This is why we sell real estate. There is nothing more important in our business than prospecting and putting buyers and sellers under contract. When we say buyers and sellers under contract, we're talking about buyer agreement and listing agreements. Now, we cannot put them under contract before we have these first conversations, which is first of all picking up the phone, calling them, prospecting, having a buyer orientation, having a listing consultation, and this is the first process and literally the most important step of getting business. So I want to just get like a feel of the room. I want you guys to post on the chat how many years we've been in the business. Just put the years. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. Okay, so I see 2 years. What else? I see one. Okay. So 15 years, 20. So I see we have some seasoned agents here, 17, great 22 years, 2 years. So we have a great combination of seasoned agents and newer agents, which is great. Now, my next question to you guys is, and this is, I want you guys to answer by uh, 0 on 1. So 0 if you never prospect, 1 if you prospect, some type of prospect. That means you pick up the phone, you call expired, you call sellers, you have a prospect, so you have a system they're using to get leads. So 1 1 0 0. So let's say like half and half. Okay, perfect. So the conversation around, so obviously the conversation will be around like how to get started, but also want to make sure to share some tips for professionals who've been prospecting in the past few years, who are actually use and are accustomed to pick up the phone and dial. Um, so when we talk about telephone prospecting, one of the biggest challenges that we have is that limiting belief, is the mindset. So people are afraid of prospecting. One of the reasons why our agents are afraid of prospecting, number one is because they have that fear, like I mentioned, limiting belief, but also because they don't know what to say. And today, I'm gonna cover everything that you guys need to start prospecting and getting leads and putting buyers and sellers on a contract. Now, so this is like a quick training agenda. So initially in the beginning, we're going to talk about prospecting mindset, which is very important. And if we don't have the right mindset, we're not going to be able to do it for a while. Prospecting comes with a lot of rejection. It requires a lot of discipline. So we need to have a strong mindset to get it done. Now, and then we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule, which is very important. And this is what makes 20% of the realtors dominate the market and do 80% of the business. We're going to talk about a little about prospecting pillars and ways to prospect for several owners, sphere, geo prospecting, social media. We're going to cover social media a little bit. We're going to talk about phone dialers and telephone because like some Asians I spoke to said that they use their phones. So we're gonna share some of the tools that we use to prospect on a high volume and high level. We're gonna talk about time blocking. And guys, there is nothing more important than time blocking and when we prospect. And we're gonna talk about something that everybody is looking to learn and practice, which is objection handling. I I believe that we have another session in a few weeks from now that will be done by Mate, and it's gonna be all about objection handling. I want you guys to be there because it's gonna be like a great session. So first of all, let's talk about the mindset. One of the reasons why people are afraid of picking up the phone is that it's because they're afraid of rejection. Um, and obviously, look, you when you call people, they don't know you. This is not like part of your sphere. Sphere to tend to be a little bit easier to have conversations with. These are people that are frustrated when that expires because they have their listing on the market for 6 months or a year. It did not sell. Now, out of a sudden, they have 50 realtors calling them this at the same time. So it creates some frustration. Now, what I want you guys to keep in mind that the reason why we're calling them is not to just to get that listing, is to sell that property. So once you go with the mindset that we are problem solvers, right? And the way you deliver that message is by number one, asking the right questions, understanding the motivation, right? Repeat and confirm what they're saying. And practice your objection handling because, like in this business, we're gonna have the same objections all the time. Now we're talking about like expired listing for sale by owners, we're gonna get the same objections all the time. Now, when we practice them, we're gonna sound more confident when we're handling those objections. Like in my whole career of selling real estate for over 10 years, I haven't met a single buyer or seller that have told me, look, I was sitting in my house, somebody called me, and they convinced me to sell my home. Never. It will never happen that way. The reason why buyers buy homes and sellers sell homes is because they have a motivation. Nobody just sell their homes. You cannot just go and door knock on properties and convince people to sell them. They will have to have a motivation. It's either like a job location, divorce, debt. They have to. They're looking for to downsize. They need probably a bigger property. They need a better school district. So there is always a reason of why people buy or sell. So I'm not here to convince them. We're just here to guide them. So the questions that we ask them are always about their real estate plans, and we just guide them to reach their goals. Rejection isn't personal. When you call someone, they don't know you. So when they say no, when they challenge you, it's like a way of telling you, tell me more about yourself. Or they give you an opportunity to build that rapport with them. So and just like we say, the more no that we get, the closer that we get to a yes. Last week I was watching the news and they were talking about this influencer on social media that put a challenge on herself, which said, I want to get 1,000 no's. And when they had this interview with her, they were like, so what's the purpose of getting as many no's? She was like, first of all, I want to get used to it. And the more no's that I get, the closer to I get to a yes. So get used to it, guys. When you prospect, when you call people on the phone, they don't know you. When they say no to you, they say no to a stranger. But that's an opportunity to build rapport with them. Take your time to ask them the right questions. Most questions should be about them, about the motivation. When you sell your property, what are you moving to? How soon would you like to be there? What do you think stopped the property from selling? So be open-minded, ask questions, and listen to them. Now, before you answer that question or before you interact with them, you always want to repeat and confirm what they say before you answer the next question, because you don't want to make it sound like it's like a type of interrogation that you have with them. There is something that we call in prospecting the math of success. How many contacts that we make, which is how many, so it starts with how many dials, obviously. How many contacts is the people that pick up the phone, they say hi and introduce yourself, and then they give you an objection. That's a contact. And then the conversation where we have that back and forth with the prospects. And then from there, and the reason obviously why we make these calls is to close for an appointment all the time. We're not closing to get to find out just about your motivation. We're not just calling to get your email. We're not calling to send you packages. We're calling to close for an appointment. In most cases, we say, and say, send me an email and I'll call you back. Guess what? In most cases, it's just like a great word for them to say to tell you, hey, I don't want to work with you. So in most cases, when I tell you send me an email, I understand I'm gonna go ahead and send you an email. And at the same time, I would love to meet you for just 15 minutes to show you everything that we do to get property sold. So we always want to close for an appointment. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, the math of success is how many contacts that you make, is how many conversations that you make, how many appointments that you close, and how many sellers that you're gonna put under contract. I'm talking about the listing agreements. So the higher contacts that you make, the higher listings that you get. And what's gonna happen in the first few weeks, the first few months of prospecting is that you're gonna make a lot of contacts, right? And very few appointments. It's probably gonna start with 50 contacts because you don't know how to handle the objections. You don't know what to say, which is fine. You sound nervous on the phone, which is fine. Now, you need to practice. It's gonna take some time. It may take weeks, it may take months. The more you do it, the more you're gonna master the conversation of real estate. So you're gonna start with 50 conversation, have one listing appointment. Now you're gonna probably go on that listing appointment. You may get it, you may not get it. Now it's gonna go from 50 to probably 40, and then 20 and 10. And it's gonna get to a point where you probably have 10 conversations and have a listing appointment. Same thing with the listing appointments now. You're gonna start by having a ratio of 1 to 5. That means you're gonna get to 5 listing appointments and get zero, right? The more you practice the listing appointment script, it's probably gonna take 2 out of 5, and you're probably gonna get to 3 out of 5, and you're gonna do better with time and practice. Now, obviously, doing this requires a lot of motivation, but motivation is useless without a system. I'm going to talk about the systems of prospecting, time blocking, having the right tools, and mastering the conversation. And again, keep one thing in mind: when you call people, you're not calling them just to bother them. You're calling them to assist them with their real estate goals. And this is the mindset that I want you guys to have. I'm calling people to make their lives better. I'm calling people to fix their problems. These properties have been on the market, did not sell. I'm calling them to help them put them under contract and close them. And this is some type of mindset exercise that I want you guys to practice. What are the things that stop you from prospecting? Number one, and we spoke about it, fear of rejection. Guess what? Everyone has fear of rejection. Everyone. That's how we're born. We like to be loved. That's what we're raised when we're babies. Everybody likes us. Everybody loves us. Now it gets to a point you start prospecting and nobody likes you anymore. Get used to it. That's the only solution. It's gonna get better with time when you know what to say. Just get used to it. Don't be afraid of rejection. You don't know what to say. We're gonna talk about it. There are ways to start the conversation. And what's also as important is where you handle those objections. Keep one thing in mind, the objections are the same. Once you start calling for sale by owners, once you start calling expired listings, once you start dealing with even buyers, it's the same exact objections. Like buyers will tell you, and all buyers for the past 12 to 16 months, they've been saying, I want to wait for interest rate to go down. We all know that this is not the best strategy to purchase a home, right? There's a way to handle it. We'll go back and talk about this later on. Lack of time and organization. We need to be structured. We need to be organized. We need to block the time when where we prospect every day. Everybody should be prospecting for at least 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, and guess what? For everyone who says, I don't have any listings now, I don't have any buyers, I don't have anything for my pipeline, prospect the whole day. Prospect the whole day. If we don't have listing appointments to go to, if we don't have buyers to meet, prospect the whole day until you get your first listing. Anxiety. So how do you manage anxiety? Obviously, if you do everything that I just mentioned, you're gonna manage the anxiety. Um, Less caffeine, eat healthy, drink more water, work out, sleep good. So all of the things that will help you with your anxiety. And obviously, the first few times that you prospect, the first few times that you call, the first few times that you call with strangers will be tough. It's not the easiest thing. But guess what? This is a great way to get business. This is what the top 10 realtors are doing. And this is the only thing that makes a difference between realtors that close deals and realtors who don't is how many hours that you spend prospecting. There is what we call the 90-day consequence analysis. Everything that we're closing now, the business that we're closing this month, was the work of the past 90 days. And everything that we're doing today will get us a check 90 days from now. One of the mistakes that most realtors do is that once they have a buyer, a seller, and a contract, they're so busy closing them that they forget to prospect. What does that do to you? It's going to compromise your paychecks 90 days from now. So this is the importance of time blocking, guys. That's why it doesn't matter what I have, it doesn't matter what the transactions are going through. You may feel, and this is something that we deal with in all our transactions, our deals are falling through. Negotiation around the inspection, the roof is leaking, the lender is hitting us with no conditions, underwriting is giving us hard time. And obviously, that's the job of underwriter is to decline the loan. Obviously, this is their job. But that should not distract you from prospecting every day. Because if you focus on the transactions that you have and the contract now, what's going to happen is you're going to compromise your checks 90 days from now. And this is the whole idea, and this is the purpose of having a transaction coordinator. I understand that if you don't have a lot of transactions now, you cannot hire an assistant. You're not going to be able to hire an admin. You may be able to hire a transaction coordinator that you pay per transaction that can help. Guess what? The most important thing is to focus on prospecting. Regardless of what's happening, don't pick up the phone. Don't answer like emails or anything for the first 3 hours of your day. The best time to prospect is usually between 8 all the way to 11 o'clock or noon. The second best time to prospect is on the evening between 6 and 8 o'clock. And we spoke about the regulations. We don't want you guys to call before 8 and after 8, obviously. Now, let's talk about the 80-20 rule. So I spoke about it, a little bit earlier. So the 80-20 rule says that 80% of closings come from 20% of database, right? So as part of what we do is to call our database. You need to stay in touch with them. Some of them may say, look, I just moved to South Florida. I don't have a lot of people in my database. Create them. Go networking events. Go on like BNI does networking events. Chambers of Commerce. They're like always events in Eventbrite. Go network, connect with people. The most important thing when you connect with people is I need obviously to get their phone numbers, names, emails, and address. Obviously, when you network, you're not going to be able to get all of this, right? That's why we have to schedule a follow-up call. If you just get their phone number, that's perfect. Now you want to have to call them again and get all the information. That's how you stay in touch with them. Past clients. A lot of you, this is when I lose probably 50% of the room where they say, well, I just started last year. I don't have a lot of past clients. You may have past clients from past businesses. You may have past clients for previous jobs that you had. I see. So you just need to go back and reach out, open your cell phone, go over all your connections and see and call them. Just call. Just be like, hey, and this one of the calls that I actually like is to say, hey, this is Simo with this and this. Long time we didn't speak. I have a goal. This is like a great way to start the conversation. I have a goal to help 30 people by the end of this year. Who do you know that's looking to sell or buy real estate? Now, the second part is 80% of appointments come from 20% of prospecting activities, right? So I want you guys to focus on the one that you feel the most comfortable with, master it, and then add more prospecting activities. 80% of the revenue come from 20% of the work hours. Guess what? 80% of our income comes from the 20% of our day that we spend prospecting. Because guess what? If you don't spend those like 3 hours prospecting, you're not going to get any business. You're not going to be able to close them. You're not going to be able to do inspections. You cannot do showings. So there is nothing more important than that 20% of your day that you spend prospecting. So if there is anything that should stay the same every day, is always a prospect because this is what's going to allow you to get more business. And this is the reason why 20% of agents do 80% of business is because they stay focused. And focus is usually on the hours that they spend prospecting. Focus on the conversation quality, obviously, over the quantity. Um, when you call your sphere, don't allow them to keep you on the phone for 45 minutes. Don't allow them to keep you on the phone for 45 minutes. The call is straight to the point to say hi, check on them, and talk about opportunities to get some business from them. Like I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite calls to make this time of the year, beginning of the year. Hey, this is Sim with XYZ Realty, and the reason I'm calling is obvious to say hi, check on you a long time we didn't talk, and I will share something with you. I have a goal. I want to help 30 families by the end of this year. Who do you know who needs to buy or sell a property? People love it because people want to help you out, guys. They want to help you. So try it and you'll see the kind of success they will get from these calls. Now, some of you might say, "Oh, I don't have the right people in my contacts," or my connections are not that good, or they're not supportive." All of this is limiting belief, and we spoke about it in the beginning. Make those calls, and you will see a lot of people that you think may not be able to help you will help you. And we spoke about mastering some sources of business before adding more. So let's talk about some of the prospecting pillars. Um, and obviously today the goal is to focus on telephone prospecting because we have like other sessions. We're going to talk about social media. Um, Sessions, we're going to talk about how to manage your CRM. But today, we're going to talk about telephone prospecting a lot more than anything. So obviously, one of the best sources to call your past clients and is to call your past clients and referrals. I mentioned that I have a goal script. Try it. It's one of the best scripts that you guys can use, especially in Q1. The one thing that I want to share about calling past clients and referrals. And obviously, we want to call them once every quarter to stay in touch with them. Don't be that type of professional that calls and asks for business all the time. People will get tired of you. And it's going to get to a point where they may not even pick up. Once in a while, I mean, obviously, one call should be to ask for business. The following call should be about client appreciation events. I mean, I like to do wine tastings for my clients. I like to do barbecues in the park for my clients. Some of you might say, well, it's expensive. That's fine. If you don't have a lot of business, if you don't have money to invest in client appreciation events, invite them for a coffee. Or just be there for them. Just be like, hey, I'm here and available. Is there anything that I can do to support your business? People love this. How many of your contacts own businesses? Call them and be like, hey, I'm just going to see how I can promote your business, how I can help you in your business. In some cases, they may say, okay, this is what I need. In other cases, they may say, look, I'm good. How can I help you instead? So I want you guys to have these conversations with your sphere. So we spoke about client appreciation event. We spoke about inviting them for a coffee if you don't want to spend money. If they're like some kind of past clients or part of your sphere that send you clients, invite them for a lunch or dinner. Okay. There's also one call that I like to make now, especially for past clients, especially with the clients that you closed last year, is to remind them to do their homestead, file for homestead exemption that you guys know this is something that you can do from beginning of the year all the way to I believe March 1st. So this is good time to text them, email them, and give them a call. Hey, just a quick reminder, file for homestead exemption. For sale by home, for sale by owner. So for sale by owner is one of the best sources of business, and the reason why I like for sale by owner is because these people are out there trying to sell their homes. They want to sell their homes. Their properties are on the market. They're expecting phone calls. So they go on a lot real estate platforms. They put some pictures. They put their phone numbers. They expect calls. The one thing about for sale by owners and the main reason why they don't want to sell it, number one, is because they think they can do it on their own and they don't want to pay commission. And this is the conversation should be around, and this is a question that I ask for sell-by owners on the phone. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is saving commission the main reason why you're trying to sell it yourself? They may say yes, they may say no. Now, your job is to show value. Your job is show them, and the statistics have shown it already. 90% of for sale by owners fail to sell. They don't sell it. They'll put them on the market and they'll end up hiring a realtor to sell it. And in most cases, they will sell it below market value because they don't have the negotiation skills that you guys have. They don't have the know-how. Their main thing, their main focus is the sales price. And you guys as professionals, you know that there is nothing more important in a contract than the terms. The terms in most cases are more important than the sales price because not being able to negotiate in terms can be costly, especially for sellers. So this is a great opportunity for you to call for sale by owners and show your value. And in most cases, if you guys want to close for the appointment, you just tell them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is saving commission the main reason why you want to start yourself? If they say yes, I would like to meet you with just 15 minutes and show you how I can sell your property and net you more money. How I can net you more money? Because that's more important than the sales price. How much you net is more important than how much you're gonna sell it for. Now, one thing that I want you to keep in mind about for sale by owners is that it requires a lot of follow-up. I want you to be the first to call them when they first put on the market, right? But I want you to be the most consistent. It may take you a month of following up. Following up can be calls, text messages, emails, DMs. Stay on top of them. For sale by owners require a lot of follow-up. Now, let's talk about expired listings. Expired listings are one of my favorite sources of business. Why? Because the motivation is there. You know that these properties were there for sale. The sellers want to sell their properties, but the sale wasn't successful. Most expired properties expired because of one of these three reasons: condition of the property, pricing strategy, and marketing strategy. Condition of the property. In most cases, they put that property without being staged, without doing the repairs that needs to be done. When the realtors take photos, they take ugly photos. The closet is a mess. The kitchen is a mess. The backyard is not taken care of. The when you do showings, the property is not in great condition. Pricing. And for this, it doesn't matter what you guys say, I will always blame the realtors because we are the professionals. We study the market and we should be studying the market and pricing and price per square foot every day. With that being said, our job is to guide our sellers to price the property right. This is our commitment to our sellers. Our commitment to our sellers is that we are professionals. We study the market every day. Therefore, I assume that you, Mrs. Seller, will list your home at a price that will cause you to sell. This conversation starts when we have that first call with them and you ask them, Mrs. Seller, how much do you want to list your property for? What price do you have in mind? Right? In some cases, they may say, oh, you're the professional. And you go like, yes, Mrs. Seller, I understand that I'm the professional. I'll be running the comparables and we'll be talking about our pricing strategies. Now, you still want to get that answer from them. You want to know what they have in mind first. Now, for expired listings, you're gonna get a lot of rejection. You're gonna get a lot of rejection. Why? These expired properties, I mean, their owners are frustrated. They've been on the market for 6 months, a year. They were probably with a realtor that promised that this property can close in 30 days. Why? Because that realtor hasn't closed a property since 2021. And obviously, you all remember back in 2021, anything that we put on the market would sell. Anything that you put on the market would sell. The market has changed now. The market has changed now. Properties are set on the market longer. A lot of properties are expiring now. More than half of single family homes are expiring. More than two-thirds of condos are expiring, guys. So, yes, this is a great source for business, but it requires strategy. We don't want to take overpriced listings. We want to make sure that we price the property right. We need to make sure that the property is well staged. That means we, we sit down with the owner, we suggest things that need to be repaired, and the property needs to be decluttered, the property needs to be cleaned, and it needs to be presentable to the buyers. Buyers are always looking for convenience. Most buyers, except the one that have like experience in purchasing properties or investors, want to buy properties that are moving condition. So therefore, we need to prepare the property before we put on the market. Now let's talk about geo-prospecting. Geo-prospecting is what we call is just listed and just sold calls. That means if you have like a property in a neighborhood, listen, we call the neighbors and say, hey, we just listed your neighbor's home. Who do you know who needs to buy or sell a property? One of the great ways to engage the owners in the neighborhood that I use is by saying, we want to give you the opportunity to pick your neighbor, and they love it. We want to give you the opportunity to pick your neighbor. And this is like a great conversation starter. In a lot of cases, when we call, yes, we want to get some suggestions or some like referrals for buyers, but also want to ask them if they're interested to sell their properties, especially for homes that have been some homeowners that have owned the properties for a certain period of time, like 20, 25 years. It's good to call them and then get like a feel of what their real estate goals are. Now, the one thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is that for geo prospecting, that conversion rate is very low compared to expired and for sale by owners because we're just calling a neighborhood. We don't know if they have that motivation to sell or that motivation to buy. Unlike expired listings and FISBO or for sale by owner, we know they need to sell. So geo-prospecting would require patience and you have to make a lot of calls. And I highly recommend to do geo-prospecting for neighborhoods that you farm. You can always use it as a tool to invite neighbors to open houses or to invite neighbors to an appreciation event that you do for the neighborhood that you farm. Asian to Asian referrals. Yes, also like a great way to prospect and get business. Now, I encourage you guys to come with us on a lot of these events that we do, whether at Florida Realtors twice a year, the National Association of Realtors, or the global trips that we go to. And the purpose is to connect with real estate professionals from all over the state, from all over the world that may send you referrals. Now, obviously, like every source of business, you need to work it. You need to stay in touch with them. So Obviously, when you connect with them in these networking events, you get their contact information. I highly suggest that you put them in your CRM, right? When you put them in CRM, and the purpose is to stay in touch with them, call them once a quarter, send them quarterly emails. Don't get them overwhelmed with emails. Don't send them market stats for like a tiny neighborhood. They're not interested in that. You may share some of the breaking news on a like national level. Some of the things that some of the studies that the National Association of Realtors issues. Send them like some swag, some gifts once in a while. I know some Asians that send like branded spices or some things to just like remind them like Starbucks gift cards for their birthdays. I mean, every birthday I receive like a few Starbucks cards from like referral partners. It's just like a great way to stay in touch. Now, the most important thing is to call them. This is like a great way to stay in touch with them. Social media obviously is also a great way to prospect. Now, the best way to prospect on social media, obviously, post, but also like and comment on your contacts and your followers because you wanna engage them, and obviously it requires like consistency. We're gonna have some more classes that mainly focus on social media, database and CRM. And I assume that almost every real estate professional should have a CRM. So I want you guys to drop on the chat how many of you is using a CRM. Just drop yes or no. CRMs, how many of you are using CRMs? Yes, no, yes, no. This is probably half. CRM is a great tool. Again, like CRM is not a system. A CRM is a tool. It's technology. It's going to help you manage those like touches. Because like so in the beginning of every year, we decide how many times we want to touch our customers. Some of us may say 24 times, some of us may say 36 times, and it's a combination of text messages, emails, phone calls, but also touch them on social media, like likes, follows, comments. It's like a great way to engage them. A CRM is a great way to stay in touch with your database. If you don't have one, invest in one. I'm sure you can get access to a CRM through your brokerage. We have CRMs through the Miami Association of Realtors, or invest in one. They're not expensive, and they have like a great return in investment. Now, a CRM would not work by itself. You need to work it. You need to do the work. A CRM is like having a cell phone. So you still have to do the work and send the emails and create action plans. So action plans are the weekly or bi-weekly or monthly emails that go to your database and text messages and and that's a great way to stay in touch with them. Google paid searches or ads. These tend to be a little bit more expensive. In addition to like YouTube advertising or content creation, there are a lot of online lead platforms that we know. They tend to be a little bit more expensive, especially for new realtors. I highly suggest for new realtors to just get a dialer and call. There is nothing more that will get you more business faster than calling expired listings. Uh, a dialer would cost you anything from 150 to 250 a month, and that's a dialer including the data that you get and everything. It helps you with filtration, so you can filter who you want to call, who you don't want to call, based on price range, based on the location, based on the legal description of the property. And we'll talk a little bit more about dialers. Mass advertising, and this tend to be one of the obviously the most expensive types ways to get business. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, phone dialers. So this is very important. How many of you knows what a phone dialer is? So zero if you don't know what a phone dialer is, and one if you know what a phone dialer is. Okay. So it's a lot of people don't know what a phone dialer is. So I'd say like probably so 50-50. Okay. So a phone dialer is a program. It's a platform that helps you dial phone numbers quicker, right? So yes, if you can just get a list of expired listens and start dialing them. Now, here is the catch. If you use your phone, you're probably gonna make 10 to 15 calls per hour. That's nothing. And guess what? The first 10 to 15 calls, they may not even pick up. Now, using a dialer is gonna help you make between 30 to 80. It's like literally 10x in the amount of contacts you'll be making. So all you do, and this is something that happens every morning on the dialers, you're gonna get the a list of the expired listings or for sale by owner, and then it's just gonna be uploaded automatically to your dialer, right? So now when you start dialing, you just like click the phone dialer, the dialer will just like connect you with the first contact, second, third, fourth, fifth, and that's gonna help you make more dials than doing it on your phone. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and suggest some names. And meanwhile, for the ones that actually use dialers, you can put the names of the dialers that you like or that you have success with. So for everyone that said they're using dialers, share the dialers they're using. And this is like a great way to exchange with other realtors that don't use dialers. I see Bredex. Now, again, if you ask me which one is better, I mean, I've worked with a lot of and spoken to a lot of top producers, and everybody has like a preference. Some of them, like I'm seeing Redex, some of them like Redex, some of them like Mojo, Vulcan 7. So as part of, so I'm gonna go ahead and suggest some of them. And again, these are dialers that I have used in my business that my team is currently using. Um, so we have like Mojo, Red X dialers, Vulcan 7 is also good. So these are allow you to have like three lines running at the same time. I've always used Espresso Agent. Arch Agent is also a good one. Now, again, what I want you guys to is call these like providers, interview them, and see which one would be the perfect fit for your business. And if you have any questions, you guys can always reach out and I'll be happy to guide. Now, there are some of them, some dialers that you can integrate to your CRM. And the reason why you want to do that is it's easy to call your sphere. Same thing, when you call your sphere, you don't want to be on the phone, you want to be on a dialer, right? You just click and it's going to connect you with your sphere. What I also like about the dialer is gonna have section on your screens to put notes, add email, at birthdays, anniversary, when you discuss their real estate goals, you also want to add them there. Obviously, set reminders, and this is a very important one because you want to set reminders to call them back. Obviously, if they say if when you call one of someone from your sphere and say, "Hey, this is Simo with XYZ Realty. I have a goal to help 30 families by end of this year," and they say, well, we are thinking about buying a property by October, right? So what I do, you're gonna set a reminder on your CRM. You're gonna say, okay, let me call them. You don't want to wait until October to call them. You want to call them probably 4 to 5 months before. Because as we know, the process of, get them pre-qualified, starting doing tours, making offers may take anything between 60 to 90 days, right? So we want to make sure that we get in touch with them ahead of time. So a CRM can help you with the reminder. And how many of you are using a CRM? Zero, no, one, yes. I mean, I asked this question earlier, yes. Perfect. So we spoke about that. So now let's talk about time blocking. So time blocking is there, at this point, guys, there is nothing more important in prospecting than time blocking. There is nothing more important in prospecting than time blocking. Why? Because we can have the tools, we can have the scripts, we can have the objection handlers, we can have the motivation. If you don't block that time, guess what? We're gonna get distracted and we're not gonna get it done. So I highly recommend that you block the first 3 hours of your day to prospect. Now, for some of you that don't like prospecting in the morning, or they have to take kids to school, or they have other commitments, the second best time to prospect, like I mentioned earlier, is the evening between 5 to 8. Some of you, if you might have like previous jobs where like in healthcare or some type of jobs where they know that most of your sphere and your contacts work night shifts, sleep during the day, wake up around like 5, 6, 7, and that's like a great time to get in touch with them. So you can always adjust, right? But now overall, the best time to call and to block time for prospecting is in the morning, 8 to 11. The second best time to prospect is on the evening, 6 to 8. Now, guess what? For somebody that does not have a business, you guys should be prospecting 8 hours a day. Block that time to prospect all day. I highly suggest that you call for 45 minutes to 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break. Prospect again for 45 minutes to 50 minutes, take a 15-minute break. Now, when you first start prospecting, it's going to be annoying. It's going to come with a lot of anxiety. Start by prospecting for 20 minutes and take a break. But what I want you guys to make sure to do is that next day, make it 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35, until you get to that 45 minute to 50 minutes and stay consistent. 15-minute prospecting, 10-minute break. This is like the best way of doing it. You go, use the bath, it's like a bathroom break, get some water, refill your coffee, get a little snack, come back and prospect, but stay consistent. And what I want you guys to understand is the people who are here now who will stay consistent in prospecting for the next 30 to 60 days will have the best spring and summer this year. You guys are gonna have the best spring and summer because we have a lot of signs that there will be like adjustment on interest rates. We are expecting the market to start picking up. We don't have a crystal ball, but based on everything that we're seeing, 2026 will be a better year than 2025. Now, the people who will spend time 2 to 3 hours prospecting every day are the ones that will have the best 2026 ever, the best year ever. So we mentioned that you should be prospecting for 90 minutes. Now, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you shouldn't be doing this, guys. Like, there is absolutely no way for you to get business if you don't prospect. It's not gonna happen. People won't just like call you, except if you spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars in signs on the highway. That's not only or like ads on TV. But besides that, if you have like a limited budget, if you want to build a business, if you want to be successful in this business, you need to spend 2, 3 hours prospecting. And I would say I'll highly encourage like 3 hours. And again, like I said, if you don't have any business, spend the whole day doing it. There's nothing else that's more important. And guess what? There is one thing that the 10% of realtors have in common is that they spend more time prospecting than the other 80 or 90%. Now, let's talk about objection handling. And this is where the frustration comes from. So most of our fear and prospecting comes from the fact that we don't know what to say, which is normal. I don't expect you to know what to say. I don't want you to be creative neither. None of the top agents came up with their own scripts. They're like sources where we can get scripts from. They're like coaching programs. Mike Ferry has been there for the past, I don't know how many years, 40, 50 years, teaching how to prospect. And a lot of coaching programs are using Mike Ferry. And a lot of these scripts, guys, are online for free. I mean, if you don't want to sign up for the coaching programs, you can do them for free. Reach out to your brokerages. They will have scripts to call expire, to call for sale by owner, to call your sphere. So you need to have a script, number one, to start the conversation. Then you need to have objection handlers. Now, for most of these lead sources, It's the same objections. Oh, if you bring me a buyer, I pay a commission. I don't want to sell at this point. I want to wait until next year. Now, all of these are just objections. Now, you're not there to convince them, like I said in the beginning. We're not here to convince them to sell. We're here to just understand their goals. Now, and the best way to understand their goals is by asking them questions. And in most cases, you start the conversation in two ways. And I'm gonna share these like scripts quickly with you guys. And like I mentioned, we're gonna have other sessions. We're gonna focus mainly on doing scripts. This is about giving you an overview, and then we're gonna dive in a little bit more into like script handling and objection handlers. And the way we start like calls, so let's say for expired listings, is two ways. So there's way where we go straight to get the appointment, right? It can be a little bit more aggressive and be like, hey, this is Simo with XYZ. I noticed that your property came off the market this morning, and I'm calling because I'm confident I can sell it. I would like to meet you with just 20 minutes to show you exactly what we do differently to get properties like yours sold. Would 4 o'clock work for you? Would five be better? So number one, you need to practice the script. Number two, you have to sound confident on the phone, right? And number three, take pauses while you're saying it. Hi, this is Simo with XYZ Realty. I noticed that your property came off the market this morning, and I'm calling because I'm confident I can sell it. I would like to meet with you for just 20 minutes to show you exactly what we do differently to get properties like yours sold in today's market. Would 4 o'clock work for you, or would five be better? Say it. They may say, oh, I don't want to say anymore. I totally understand. And then this is where you repeat and confirm. I totally understand. And I appreciate you sharing that you don't want to say anymore. When do you think you may put it back for sale? Because when I understand the motivation, when I understand the goals, they may say, well, in a few months from now. And then you go like, I totally understand that you want to wait for a few months before you put your property back on the market. Now, if you are absolutely confident that this property would sell, would you put it back on the market now? In a lot of cases, I mean, not a lot of cases, in some cases, I've had I've had expired saying, yes, I'm curious to know. Now, that's when you want to pre-qualify them. When you sell your property, what are you moving to? Why do I ask this question? Because we want to know what the motivation is. If someone does not have a motivation, I'm not gonna sell it. They're not gonna list it, right? So you always want to ask them, what is your motivation? I'm not gonna tell you what is your motivation, but I'm gonna ask you, when you sell your property, what are you moving to? They're gonna say, oh, I need a bigger home, or I need a smaller home, or I need to move up north, or I need to move to the school district. We're getting divorced, right? So they need to have a motivation. They may say, well, this property is vacant. We're using it as a vacation home, or this property was an investment home. So when you ask this question, when you sell your property, what are you moving to? It's not so much about knowing where they're moving to. They may say, yes, I'm moving to New York, moving back to Texas. But the reason is to find out what the motivation is. Now, once they give you that motivation, you were like, okay, so tell me about your time frame, right? Now, this is another confirmation to the motivation, right? Now, if you guys pay attention, I confirm and repeat what they say before I ask them the next question. Because if you just ask them those questions back to back, you know what they're gonna say? Oh, is this an interrogation? And they're gonna hang up on you. People want to be heard. People want to be heard. So confirm and repeat is a must. If you don't do that, they're gonna hang up on you. And then the third question that I'd like to ask, like just out of curiosity, obviously we're gonna share our marketing strategy and share everything that we do to sell properties like yours. What do you think stopped this property from selling? The answer, we know in most cases we know what the answer is. Probably is overpriced. It's one of three reasons. It's either overpriced or the condition of the property is bad. Also, in that case, it's also overpriced, or the marketing strategy is bad. So we want them to talk about that. How did you get to pick the last agent that you had it listed with? Now, I'm not asking them this question just for them It's just to talk bad about the previous realtor because in some cases the previous realtor might have tried but didn't sell. I want them to understand what their expectations are. Why do you think it didn't sell? Oh, because we didn't have enough open houses, because of the market. They may say because of the interest rates, they're gonna come up with any reasons. None of this is relevant at the same time. But you want to start pre-qualifying them while you build a rapport with them. And the more questions you ask them, especially when you confirm and repeat, the more they're gonna like you. The more you have them talk, the more they're gonna like you. Now, what is the reason why people want to do business with you? The number one reason why people want to do business with you is because they like you first. And then they're gonna trust you, and then they're gonna look you up, and then they're gonna decide to do business with you. They need to like you. And for some reason, and guys, this is not about selling, this is not about how experienced you are. This is more about psychology. It's like you're doing some kind of therapy, right? When you go to a therapist, all they do is ask you questions, right? So that's what we do as realtors also, as part of our job, is to understand our prospects' real estate needs. So we're here to ask them questions. Selling is not telling. Selling is asking the right questions. So I'm here to ask you enough questions, good questions, straight to the point questions to understand your needs, to understand your goals, right? Now, before I ask the next question, I need to confirm and repeat. I appreciate you sharing that. I understand where you're coming from. I don't have to say, I agree with you, because I'm the professional. They may say, oh, it didn't sell because of the price. No, or it didn't sell because of the market. Now, in most cases, it didn't sell because of what I mentioned earlier, right? And we'll find out, me as a professional, we'll find out why that property did not sell. We're gonna do our due diligence. We're gonna do our run our comparables, and we're gonna look at the way the property was put on the market, the quality of the photos, the quality of content creation that we had for that property. But again, one of the most important part of handling the objections is number one, giving them the time to answer the question, repeat and confirm, and then ask the next question to understand their motivation. Silence is a powerful weapon. This is something that I mention to Irene. She's here. And this is a challenge that most expressive people have. I'm sure some of you may have the opportunity to be at Tara's this class, which is about understanding personalities. Expressive people are afraid of silence. So in some cases, when you ask a question, when you handle the objection, stay quiet. If not, you're gonna talk yourself out of the deal. Ask that question or handle the objection and pause. It's okay to feel awkward. Don't be afraid of silence, guys. Listen appointments. When you have that listen agreement in front of them, you go over it, you give them that pen, and you go like, sign here, zip it, stay quiet. Silence can be to your favor. A lot of realtors walk themselves out of a deal just by talking, just by saying more than they should. All right, so it's almost 2 o'clock. I'm not sure if you have time for a few questions. Cecilia, do we have time for questions? Yeah, I'll go ahead and take 1 or 2 questions. You can just unmute yourself. We'll take actually 3 questions. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
The question was really good on the comments that it said if you call or get a voicemail, should you leave a message or not? That's a good one.
For when you call expired listings, they don't know you, and I wouldn't leave a voicemail. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you call, the only way for you to get that appointment is by handling objections. It has to be a back and forth conversation. That's the perfect way. Now, if you call in your sphere, people that you know, that's fine. You can leave a voicemail. Now, when you call in expired, I mean, I can't remember a single person telling me, "Oh, I called this expired, I left them a voicemail, and they called me back." Because I'm gonna get like 50 calls. So the answer is it's unnecessary, especially for expired and for sell by owners. All right, let's take one more question. Uh, okay, so that was the same question. It was about voicemail. Yeah, that's a good question actually. And I get that a lot. The answer is no. I won't leave a voicemail. You can, but your rate of success won't be that high. All right. If no more questions, I'll give it like a few more seconds. Don't be shy. And look, if you are shy, this is your best way to overcome your fear is by unmuting yourself and asking a question. And there is no such thing as dumb questions or stupid questions. Every question will get you to do better. Every question will get you to be 1% better every day. So don't be shy. If the main reason why you don't want to ask that question is because you are shy, unmute yourself and do it. Because I want you guys to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. When you prospect, you need to get used to being uncomfortable. All right, guys. If you have any additional questions later on, tomorrow, next week, you know how to get in touch with me. Thank you so much for being here. And make sure that you come to our RE Bar Camp next month. And we're gonna have some great sessions about prospecting, about farming over the next few weeks. Have a nice day and go prospect and get some business.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course, I'm going to be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course, I have a full purse.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course, I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course, I'm sneaking out for show.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course, we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader.
Of course I'm cafecito obsessed.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course, I'm going to crash the next happy hour.
If I find my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? Wouldn't it be crazy? Oh, don't you still amaze me? If I find my way home, yeah.